So, we should probably talk about that new format. Make sure you guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more content. Early format results have been turning in over here. And, yeah, we gotta talk about some of these early thoughts. Buster Blader over here. Yeah, you heard me say that right. Robbie, Tenpai's dead. Like, we don't have Dragon Mage yet, we don't have, Dragon Rulers yet. Well, this managed to get 5th place out of its regional out here. And I've had the chance to look at the list, and I gotta tell you, I'm really, really, really happy to see Dragon Ruler, or to see this deck kind of getting a chance to get into the spotlight here, because, even if it's just a lot of Bysteel control, which it kind of is, Buster locking your opponent is always going to be kind of a free little thing. And of course, you get access to the Metal Morph stuff. Yeah, just looking at this list, I'll have this list up later in the week for you. But it's a combination of the Buster lock, Bysteel control, and you already know some of the stupid things that you can do with Buster Blader. Making it so that your opponent can't play the game and having access to just incredibly ignorant soft locks. We're kind of in an interesting place right now in the game that, obviously everybody kind of wants to explore these options right now. But you've also got to remember right now that with all of these options kind of running around in the meta, yeah, Malice is a big thing, but everything's trying to play Fiendsmith in it. So, if you can adapt a Bysteel package, like you're kind of seeing out here with a lot of this meta, it shouldn't really surprise you to see that something like Buster Blader suddenly is going, oh, hey, I had a successful run out here. You know why I had a successful run? Because you have a good counter to a majority of the meta, and you have a very, very, very degenerate lock that you can place on your opponent, and your opponent's just going to be like, oh, shucky me timbers. What am I supposed to do about that, duelist? The Ryzeal and Malice domination. Now, to nobody's surprise out here, and I mean nobody's, it was what, like, just 2 weeks ago out here, the meta was just Snake Eyes, Yubel, and Tenpai out here. And you know what? Things have changed. Yeah, things, it's Ryzeal and Malice domination out here. It's crazy to see that, like, we flipped the switch so quickly out here that this meta, it feels like a completely different game, though I very much assure you it doesn't really feel like much has changed out here. I think everybody was just expecting the Ryzeal Malice domination. Of course, you had a couple people out there shouting at the back of the room going, no, you deck suck. Yeah, and see where these people are now, all right? They're the ones spending a couple $100 rushing out here to pick up these cores. That's just the kind of situation we found ourselves in out here. It's pretty ridiculous. Is this domination going to pass? No. These two decks are locked in. Ryzeal and Malice, depending on... I've already seen the spreadsheet populating decks, and there's an entire engine category now. We've reached this is a Ryzeal deck, but it's also a Fiendsmith deck as well. Yeah, you've entered back into the engine meta. I know a lot of people don't really like these metas all that much because they're just, hodgepodge, throw this in this deck, congratulations, you have this working out for you. I wish that I could reassure you a little bit differently, but that's not going to be the case here, all right? Ryzeal and Malice on their core basis, 100% going to be the two best, but that does not mean that there are not challengers out here stepping up to play, because like I said, we just had Buster Blader out here. Buster Blader shocked everybody this weekend, getting a fantastic performance, and once again, you can thank the Bysteels for that. All right, so Goblin Bikers. This one, we Goblin Bikers, and if you go to an event and you expect to play enough Ryzeal out here, you probably are going to have a pretty decent time out here. There's just kind of something about this deck that just, I don't know, maybe detaching materials from your opponent's monster, maybe that's a pretty good thing against an Exceed deck. Okay, so every detach that I can pop off is one less pop that you can technically interact with. Well, how consistently can you do that? Well, I've already heard a couple of localized reports. That wasn't the thing that caught my attention. We've already got regional success out here with this deck. I crap you not, everybody. Week 1, Goblin Bikers are already taken. I've saw 1 top so far with this. Now, I'm not going to take this away from anybody, but you know what? If a deck whose specific life purpose is to just counter exceed materials out here, congratulations. You're bound to be successful in doing your job eventually. Though, we never seen Goblin Bikers and Purely kind of interacting. I would have loved to have seen that matchup a little bit more, because, Purely's just dead over there in the corner in the meta. Like, literally, it's not doing too much. Though, I did hear about a Purely Sky Striker Deception package that just showed up in Japan. No, sorry, too much. So Goblin Bikers are back. They are adapting some pretty cool ideas. I look forward to seeing how people are going to try to use the Xyz detaching mechanics to further benefit themselves and to help this matchup go a little bit more in their favor. And if you're playing Ryzeal constantly all day, I think you can probably do pretty well. You've also got to be one of the more educated Goblin Biker players, because I tell you, some of those Goblin Biker players are making some really, really dog shit builds. Like, it's crazy. The Fiendsmith problem. Oh, God. Fiendsmith is a problem right now. I liked what Fiendsmith was doing without Lacrima. It was really, really cool. Just kind of seeing it develop. And then we've reached the point right now that I didn't realize how crazy that the Fiendsmith package actually was in our format. And I don't think that Konami factored for this during the last ban list. I think that this was, believe it or not, I believe that the TCG figured out Fiendsmith too late for Konami to retroactively make a stance against this deck, which is pretty crazy to talk about here. Because everywhere you're going to look right now, it's going to be Fiendsmith this, Fiendsmith that. It is just, there is so much of it out there. And once again, I mentioned earlier, we're in an engine format out here. It's how many pieces can you shove on in this stupid thing, and how much success can you actually have with this? All right, I know you're not going to be happy hearing that, but Fiendsmith is going to be the dominating engine. I would say Ryzeal's an engine too, because it kind of is. But in terms of what we are technically considering, it's going to be Fiendsmith. And the crazy thing is like, if you cut off the Fiendsmith package, well, then congratulations. That was the secondary package. Boom. The first secondary engine turns on in the deck, and you're able to do things. See, these one-card engines that flow together are very, 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 very problematic. And that is a wee little bit of an issue out here. So we'll wait and see how that develops. But for very early week 1, not looking too good. So what are we expecting out of this format? A lot of Ryzeal and Malice. That's not going to change. I like that people are experimenting right now, though. I like the fact that, even though you expected a lot of Ryzeal and a lot of Malice out here, these shocking rogue challengers like Goblin Bikers obviously are kind of coming in the spotlight. Now, obviously, if you're choosing to play some of these rogue decks, you are going to have to roll pretty well into the matchup you want, because if you're playing Goblin Biker and you play 3 Malice, well, congratulations, your run's done. Unless you've got some super big spice in there and you draw on the Lancias and you're shutting that deck off, then you might actually have a chance. I know, I'm really making Goblin Bikers look like this crazy, good rogue deck. I am expecting this format to get figured out very quickly. I'm expecting things to get pretty stale pretty quickly. After we report on the 15th Ryzeal deck, January and February are going to be probably pretty rough to look at this game. As we're wrapping up December out here, I think things are going to be pretty nice. Just to see what people are going to cook up. I mean, we've already got Ryzeal Hero you saw for the 12 days. We also got a Ryzeal Gadget deck list coming. And me and my friend are putting together a Ryzeal Heraldic deck. So, the 12 days of Christmas just kind of turned into some extra interesting stuff. But, I'm having fun right now, I will say. Might not be the most competitively viable, healthy format in the world, but shucks, man. Ring 4 deck that can just kind of toss everything in? I'm kind of having a blast. So, what do you guys think about early meta thoughts? Please, leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I'll see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Peace.
Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.